Hi, I'm Dave, owner of Future Past Vintage Collectibles. This is my daughter, Rachel.
Hello.
Bringing you comic content every week. Rachel, let's do some quick housekeeping.
Yes. We are comic dealers, so if you want to hang out with us and see what comics we sell, head over to Instagram, where we do super high-grade bronze and copper comics on Monday night at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then we're also doing a 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time sale this Friday, February 16th, over on Instagram as well, where we're going to have hundreds of books, the most books we've ever had in a claim sale.
Yes.
High grade, low grade, all different prices. Lots of modern books, bronze books, copper books, all sorts of stuff.
Right. First time. So we're looking forward to it.
Definitely check us out over there if you're not following us already. And also follow us here on YouTube.
Yeah. Hit the like button. Share it with your friends. So we buy collections. If you're watching this and you want to sell your collection, you're thinking about it, reach out to us. Look for our email in the description. But we buy collections. We talk to a lot of people. So reach out to us.
Do it.
Anyway, we're going to start the show off. I've been going through my back stock. Parts of it I haven't looked at in years. I've been doing it aggressively. I found this book. This is a near mint copy.
It's Creatures on the Loose 21.
Yeah, this is a Steranko cover. It's something in my era, for my age group, that if you were collecting in the 80s and 90s, you saw these. This is the kind of stuff I like to read. Love this cover. This is the kind of stuff that made me really like Steranko. So anyway, it was nice to find that. What we're talking about today is going through backstock, looking at the stuff I have. There are things that I have a lot of. When I say a lot of, do I mean one issue? Not necessarily. It means runs, you know. And I've had a lot of them for a long time. Some of them I've had from my pool box. I've been carrying around for decades. And some of them I've picked up from collections that I've purchased. Some of the stuff I collect, or I collect books from that series or that character. And some of it is interesting because it's highly collectible in spots, but if you have every single issue of something, almost nothing everyone wants every single issue of. So we're going to talk about some of these series and why people collected them, and some of it kind of flies under the radar. You might not even be familiar with the character at all or the series at all. So we're going to introduce some of you to some characters. Some of you will already know them. So our first character today is Animal Man from DC Comics. Rachel.
So Animal Man, his first appearance was in Strange Adventures 180 in 1965. He wasn't referred to as Animal Man yet, though. That was just his first appearance. He was created by David Wood and artist Carmen Infantino, which we know.
Yep. A-Man. They called him A-Man.
Yeah, they called him A-Man.
Yeah, A-Man.
They referred to him as Animal Man in issue 190 of Strange Adventures.
So he wasn't in continuous issues. They had him, and then they skipped a few issues.
Yeah, he was in 5 issues of Strange Adventures.
Right.
Started as A-Man, then turned into Animal Man.
Right.
And then he kind of dispersed into a bunch of different series. I'm going to show some of the covers.
It took a while for him to get a costume.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is something I collect. I've been putting together slowly. Very difficult to get engraved, just so you know. People read these. I don't think they took them as serious as other superheroes because he really didn't start off as a superhero.
I didn't even say what he did.
Yeah. So
maybe I should do that.
Tell the people.
So if you don't know, because I didn't know, who is Animal Man and what does he do? Animal Man, whose name is Buddy Baker, was next to an extraterrestrial spaceship, and it turned him into a man who can take on the powers of animals. So the examples that I saw were he can fly like a bird, or he can take over the strength of an ant, which if you don't know, ants can carry 16,000 times their body mass or something like that, which is crazy. It's a lot. They can carry really heavy stuff. They're very
50
tiny.
times, yeah, they're strong.
It's I'll put up the actual statistics
strong.
there.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is Animal Man. Because I didn't know. I was like, does he turn into animals? No, he just takes their powers, which is really cool. And then he was in 3 other series dispersed before he had his own series.
Right.
So we can kind of talk about what those issues were.
Sure. So he had his 5 issues, and then he went away for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then he shows up in Wonder Woman.
Yes.
In the 80s.
Which,
right?
Out of nowhere, he's just here now. So he was in Wonder Woman 267 and Wonder Woman 268, and he's on the cover.
So I still think these are sleepers, and I remember me and my brother in the early 90s knowing that these were the next appearances after the Strange Adventures. And they had some heat on them. I remember picking up that first issue and it might have cost $30 at the time before CGC.
That's a lot for back then.
Before CGC, right? So they were raw copies, and them being really hard to find, especially in any grade, right? Like a near mint, for instance. Not wanting to sell it, and then coming back to the hobby, 4 or 5 years ago, and people not caring that much about them. So I find these. I find them at conventions or whatever. They're not that expensive. I don't think they're as much as they were then. Every time I see these, I buy them. And I have not sold one, and I will not sell one. Not that I have like 5 of each. I have a couple. I think I have 2 or 3 of each. And I'm not selling them anytime soon because I collect that series, right?
Right.
And here's the point I'm making on this series. The first 10 appearances, you could literally put them together in an affordable way. And he is a cool character. And here's the other part. Now that the DCU has some really creative people that are willing to branch out on some characters that were buried in the bench and they haven't been using, this character was very, very popular. I do have that action book. I just got excited. Oh, I'll talk about. I'll save my excitement. I didn't remember. I have that. Slab 9.
We're gonna show both of them. I haven't even told them what it is yet.
I forgot. Okay, so you might not care about Animal Man. I do. I mean, that Grant Morrison run that we're going to talk about in a minute in the late 80s, early 90s was in a lot of people's pool box, and people were raving about the story and the way they redid the character. And I just told Rachel today as we were getting this video done, like, I'm committing right now to reread Animal Man. So anyway, let's keep going.
Let's keep going, because I showed my dad these covers and he forgot that he has all of these. I will mention there are some other series that he appeared in. We're just showing these 3 series that he appeared in other than Strange Adventures. So Action Comics, he was in Action Comics 552 and 553.
So I got these raw, submitted them to CGC, got 9/8. They're in my stock. I'm not selling them. I love that I have them. This is why I like collecting comics. It's not always about value. They might be $100 books. Maybe.
We haven't looked up. I know the Wonder Womans are trading at 9.8 for like 150, 160.
Well, I think the older one is the first one is like 175, and the next one's 135. I don't care. I'm not selling them. Because there's not that many copies, really. I think there was 30.
All of these are pretty low census. The Strange Adventures, I don't know. I didn't look that up.
The 553, I think, is over $100. I mean, I don't care. First of all, it's a cool cover.
Yeah.
It's a good-looking cover. But if you're a fan, here's why I like the hobby. It's an early appearance of Animal Man. It's late from his chronological birth in the comic universe. But for me, it's nice to have like a complete run. I'm only missing one of the 5 issues
of Strange
Adventures. Mine are all 8.5 or higher, except my 180. It was an 8.5. I cracked it. It had a bent corner. I touched it and it fell off. So
oppressor's worst nightmare.
Literally, I didn't do anything to it. It was hanging on by a thread. I didn't know that.
I think we probably showed that book when you got it, because we've been talking. Like, if you followed us for a long time, we've talked about Animal Man a lot, and we've shown a lot of Animal Man.
I haven't talked about him that much.
We have like 5 or 6
It's not like I'm
videos.
raving about Animal Man all the time.
We have talked about him a lot, whether or not you like.
So I sent it back to CGC. I got my 7.0 with a tear in my eye. Put it back. If it was that fragile, it's like that kind of sucked for me. But I paid over $1,000 for that 8.5, and now it's worth like $500. Oh well, it's like I want an 8.5, and that 8.5 sucked if it was like going to fall off. So anyway, here we are. I'm going to once again try to get a higher mid-grade, because that book to me is special. Anyway,
Amen.
To me, it's not like what's hot; it's what I want, and I tend not to walk on the path most traveled. I like things that I like. So if it's hot or not, I don't care. I definitely want a book that is harder to get. I want that challenge. I want to walk up to somebody one day and they have a 9.0 or whatever. I'm not trying to spend all my money. I'm just trying to get a book that I'm always going to appreciate every time I look at it. Anyway, keep moving.
The other series that was featured in that we're going to talk about is DC Comics Presents. He was in number 77 and number 78. Just another like dual. I think it's interesting. All of these are back-to-back 2-issue series that he's featured in.
They're kind of testing him out, keeping him in the universe.
Okay, so we talked about Wonder Woman, we talked about Action Comics, we talked about DC Comics Presents. All of that was before Crisis on Infinite Earth, when DC kind of did a reset on all of their characters.
Right.
So then Crisis happened. People know about it. If you're not, look it up.
It was a house cleaning. I mean,
basically reset, redo, refresh button. So 1988, Animal Man's first long-running series and only long-running series is created by Grant Morrison. I'll throw up the number 1 issue here. It actually started as a 4-issue limited series.
Yeah, this is interesting.
And it did so well that they were like, keep on writing, Grant Morrison. And he continued writing for the series for 2 years. But the full series ran for 7 years. So 1988 to 1995, it had 89 issues. And here we are. It ended, the last series of Animal Man ended in 2009. So it's been a really long time since Animal Man was written about.
They had some really creative covers in that run. We'll show you a few. And lastly, this is a complete swipe from Showcase 79. You can put the Showcase 79 next to it, Rachel. So anyway, that's Animal Man.
Animal Man.
So, there's a couple takeaways from there. There's some cool books out there that I do think that one day, at some point, Animal Man will come into the sphere. And you'll have heard something about him if you've never heard about Animal Man. I just know that I'm always hunting for Animal Man stuff. And if you don't like DC, maybe you still don't like DC. So let's talk about some more DC.
Let's talk about more.
So I bought a collection, and there were some amazing runs. This was another completist. Amazing runs. These Superboys behind me, the entire Superboys with Legion. I don't have them all here. I just grabbed some of them.
It's a lot more than this.
It was all of them. And most of them are in very high grade. I mean, near mint plus. Amazing. So I'm holding on to those because they're really hard to find in high grade. But there were other sets, and some of them were confusing. I mean, and going all the way up to the modern era. All the way up to, 4 years ago. So I was looking through them, and I found a box of Starman. And I'm looking through them, I'm like, I am not familiar with Starman. And the covers were unique, and I'm looking through, and I have a lot of them. I mean, a lot. I'm mostly thinking, what am I going to do with these? I don't know anything about them. I started looking them up. So let's talk about Starman, Rachel.
Yeah, so we
researched this, and here's what we got.
We did a deep dive on Starman, because neither of us knew anything about it. So the original Starman was named Ted Knight.
And not this Ted Knight.
Not him. His first appearance was in Adventure Comics 61, and he was an astronomer who created a gravity rod that later became a cosmic rod, allowing him to fly and manipulate energy. And he wore a red and green costume and a helmet. And he was in the Golden Age, kind of fell off and was kind of obscured by 1950.
By the way, really familiar with that character.
That's the OG. Most people know that.
I didn't know that this was that character.
That it's connected.
Yeah.
Well, in going through this, I learned that there are a lot of characters that were named Starman. Not all of them are related to this Starman, so keep that in mind. Also, Starman was a part of the Justice Society. So there are Justice Society issues with him in it as well. I didn't mention that.
We're talking OG Golden Age.
OG Golden Age. Okay, so move forward to 1951. There is a new Starman. A new Starman is born. A superhero who operated in 1951. It's pre-Silver Age Crisis continuity. This Starman was actually Batman. He briefly took up that name in Detective Comics 247, using variants of his usual equipment but with a star motif instead of a bat, because he was hypnotized into thinking that he was afraid of bats. And it's only one issue, but his name is Starman, and he looks like Starman. He's got a big star on his chest. It's so funny to me.
I like his star spaceship.
Yeah, he's got a star spaceship. He's got star throwing stars. It looks like a spaceship.
Whatever that is. His weaponry is pretty sick. I like what he's using there.
And the cover is really funny for that issue, too, because he's like, I'm never going to be Batman again. And then just like an honorable mention, because there's a lot of other Starmen out there in different issues. But one that I thought was very interesting.
So they were everyone was retconning because he died somehow. Starman just went away.
Yeah, he's gone.
He
evaporated. I tried to figure out how he died. It's a little convoluted.
Into the ether, he just evaporated.
Which we'll eventually get to the series that we have, but we're not there yet. But one of the honorable mention Starmans was named Mikkel Thomas, who was an alien who traveled to Earth to help conquer it, but instead turns against his warlike people to defend the human race, and he was in first issue special number 12.
That's why everyone needs to buy first issue special. What is wrong with you people? I love that series. I don't know why people hate on first issue special. Okay,
we had a lot of monorays of those. And he was one of the earliest notable DC comic characters who was openly gay, which is really interesting.
See? First issue special. They were breaking ground, folks.
So anyway, there's a lot of other Starmen that exist. And I'm not going to go into all of them. You can look that up if you want to.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole.
But move forward to the 1990s.
It's an iceberg.
It is. This is the layers of the iceberg. So it's 1990s now, and David Knight, who is Starman's son, becomes the new Starman, and that's Starman Volume 1.
There you go.
From the 1990s.
Not the series that I'm talking about.
We're still not at the series we're not there. But yeah, he first appeared in Starman Volume 1. He took his father's mantle. He had the cosmic, whatever it's called. What is it called? So his first, he takes over. He's Starman. He's the oldest brother. He takes over for his dad. He's got his cosmic rod. He's ready to go. He dies. He gets assassinated.
Wow.
In Starman Volume 2, number 0. And here we are to the box of books my dad's found in this collection. Starman Volume 2, who features Jack Knight. Here he is, the son of the original Starman, the younger son, a cosmically powered staff in his hand. He refuses to wear a costume. He prefers a t-shirt, a leather jacket, and a Cracker Jack Prize Sheriff star on his shirt, which is featured on the first cover. And he also has light shielding tank goggles. So this is the series that my dad found in this collection that he bought. Also, his brother David pops in every once in a while to give him advice.
Like a ghost?
Like a ghost version of him.
And his dad, too?
No, I don't know. It doesn't say. So, possibly. But he's also part of Justice Society. And then he hands the baton over to Star Girl, who is the newest heir and actually has a series still being made connected to Starman.
You know, my biggest takeaway from all this is it started with the conversation like, what are these? and we went down a rabbit's hole. I now have to own a nice copy of Detective 247. This is how I collect comics, okay? I need a tie to something. I need to know, like, what's going on. And by the way, the interior of this book looks really fun. I like the story behind it. It's like a one-off, non-sequitur, doesn't connect. It's pre-crisis. And by the way, that crisis timeline changed storytelling, let alone comic books. If you think of all the non-comic book related stories that talk about multiple universes, really, I mean, DC Comics changed storytelling and comic books forever with a brilliant way to kind of create these layers within comic books that can tell stories from different places and still not mess up your fantasy of reading Batman and
the OG Starman
and Earth 1 and not be confused about Earth 2. So I really enjoy the hobby, and I think that just brought a new layer of creativity to it. But yeah, that book I'm definitely on the lookout for. And it's always fun because as Rachel and I talk about it, don't think she's not either. If she ever sees that book, she's going to go nuts. I was surprised I'd never heard of that before. And then I thought it was so campy and cheesy back then.
Yeah.
I really dug what they did with it.
Which, again, I was able to find some really good shots.
It reminded me of Starro. With the Starship, I was thinking Starro and Justice League. I'm like, that's cool.
So it definitely aligns with the DCU, for sure. So anyway, that was our deep dive on Starman. I hope you enjoyed that.
Before I go to the next character, I want to tell you guys, as we wrap this up, it made me laugh. Right before we started shooting today, I'm thinking, this is not even what it was supposed to be about. What it's really supposed to be about is we were supposed to do Hellblazer, because that's what the topic was.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even talk about Hellblazer.
And I said, don't mention it to Rachel till we start shooting. So Interestingly, I'm just going to breeze over this because we didn't prep for it at all, but Hellblazer was the longest running series from Vertigo with 300 issues. I picked up a collection that had every issue. And it's like one of those things that at first, I didn't pick what to buy in this collection. I don't know if I want 300 issues of Hellblazer, but I have them. And, it's not like it's a key rich series. It's not. And a lot of the covers are great. And it's like, that's a long time, by the way.
That 300 issues is crazy.
It's a long time. It ran for from 88 to 2012, I think. So that's just an incredibly long run. And then they ran 12 more issues. The interesting thing about Hellblazer is that it's getting a John Constantine 2 is coming out with Keanu Reeves.
Oh.
No one's really talked about that.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Yeah, so not that I'm specking or thinking anything. Maybe the first issue might get a bump. I don't care about that.
No one's already popular. The number one issue.
I care more about collecting. I mean, we sell comic books for a living, so it's like I'm not always trying to sell mega keys because that's not what we have. Tens of thousands of comic books. I like to sell just even cheap comic books to people just to read. Yeah. So it's nice to have a back stock. So if somebody wanted to get back issues, that's fine.
Not a lot of people knocking at our door for 300 issues of Hellblazer.
Would you guys happen to have a set of Hellblazer? Never have I ever heard that.
We do.
So the last character that we're talking about today is an interesting one. And if you don't mind, throw up a cover of Omega Men 3. Boom.
Ever heard of it?
Yeah. So when it comes to Lobo, this is one of two covers that I think everyone associates with Lobo. This book's been on fire for years. When I came back from being away from the hobby for 20 years, I had 4 or 5 of these in my long boxes.
We've got them slabs and all that.
So, these have been popular for decades. I remember when Omega Men 3 came out and everyone really liked this character, and he's changed a lot. So, will you throw up a copy of Lobo 1? Here's how much it changed.
Changed a lot.
Yeah, from then.
He's like a metal rock star now.
Now, I love the cover from Lobo 1. I know that some people really like Omega Men 3. They think it's great. He's on the space chopper.
He's got short hair.
I can hear like Rob Zombie playing Dracula while he's going through space on his space chopper. But on the other one, he's kind of biting his lip and he just looks vicious, When I had a pull box at my local comic store, and every week they put books in it. I'm about to show you the coldest series on earth. Jason Momoa was tapped to play Lobo, we think. And there's been all this buzz around it. And you can see all kinds of stuff on YouTube where people are mentioning that he was very excited at the prospect of it. And he would be a great Lobo.
He's got the hair for it. So.
But what comic character? Why they use like 2 people to play every comic book character?
Well, he's already on the payroll, so might as well just pop him in.
Who would
Aquaman.
I know, but who would ever think the same guy that plays Aquaman would play Lobo?
They got to change him up a lot.
He's way more Lobo than Aquaman. Anyway.
Anyway.
So if that's him, who knows what DC is going to do? They've kept Lobo. He's never really had a series that ever ran a long time, you don't think, but I'm about to show you something. So in 2018, Crush was introduced in New Teen Titans 20.
It was Teen Titans 20, yeah.
Teen Titans 20. There you go. And I thought that was cute, and I thought that was cool. But she's been around for years, and they've done some series with dad and daughter together. So here's the deal. In the 90s, Lobo, who's a bounty hunter, all around kind of bad guy in outer space, and he goes out and does stuff. He's kind of just a bad guy. Legion kind of sucked him in. So Legion 89, 7 years, right? The Legion ran? Mm-hmm. He was in the Legion. He was on the cover. He was making jokes. He was fighting for good. And if you guys didn't know that, he was in the Legion for 7 years. That series, I've never heard one content person talk about Legion. And if you want to talk about comic books I have a lot of, I have every single... Do you see this?
DC!
These are from 72 and 3. I have every Legion from 72 to probably 2018 or 19.
So we probably have the first batch.
Every single issue. because when I buy collections, I've bought from some people that like the Legion. So I have every issue. Including all the Legion years, I have multiples because I had them in my boxes. But anyway, we'll show you some covers really quick if you're not familiar with it. It was good reading. People enjoyed it. And it lasted for 7 years. That's not a short time. Mm-mm. So it's just one of those things. If you're a collector and you like Lobo, you might enjoy the read. I don't think any of that stuff is necessarily going to be valuable. What would make me laugh if those are the types of storylines that they took it out of?
That would be
It's
funny.
not going to be Omega Men.
No. Well, maybe.
I don't think so.
We don't know. It's all speculation now.
They might cover swipe that first thing with him in a chopper.
Oh yeah, show that.
Oh yeah. So
We were literally just about to start filming and open a box.
I was looking through a box and I'm like, oh,
there's Lobo again.
I have a DCU. I have a box of DCU books,
which goes into like, for whatever reason, Lobo only has the 4 issue limited series about himself, and then he's in like all these one shots and short limited series with other DC characters. They just really didn't want him to have a long running series by himself. They're like, sorry, you can get a 2 issue series, a one shot, be with Superman, be with Batman. That's it. Nothing by yourself.
But you cannot be alone.
You have to with your daughter. That's it. Only 4 issues by yourself.
And there's always a way to make it harder for yourself. Like, if you want to collect Lobo, I'm only going to collect DCU Lobo. I mean, I'm not going to get the stuff to see. DCU, these were all in multi-packs.
The DC Universe.
And they were either second or third printings, or, these were tougher to get. So there's always a way to challenge yourself. But that's what we're doing today. We're talking about stuff that people don't talk about, because it doesn't mean it's bad. Just because it's not hot doesn't mean that a bunch of people don't collect it or like it. Everything doesn't have to be valuable. And just because it's not valuable doesn't mean it might not be hard to get. Going back to the Animal Man stuff, don't think that stuff's easy to get. You might be able to get a low-grade copy of some of those books. But the funny thing is, and it's always inevitable, that if I start wanting to get something, I can't find a copy. Anyway, hope you enjoyed today's episode. A little bit different, a little bit of a departure.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to follow us here on YouTube. Subscribe, give us a like, make a comment down below. Tell us what you're thinking. And then also follow us over on Instagram, where we do claim sales every Monday at 5 p.m. and now on Friday.
Let us know what you thought. Talk to you soon.
See ya!
Bye.